Writing a thesis sentence for a speech is so easy that many people make it difficult. It is different from a thesis statement you might make in an English class, so it often feels wrong to people new to public speaking. An English instructor will hate a public speaking thesis, but a public speaking instructor will cringe at an English thesis. So let's look at some of the differences. A thesis statement for written work can be elaborate and complex. If your reader gets confused, they simply back up and read the information again. In this example, our topic is in blue, television, and our paper is going to talk about television being a catalyst for change in yellow. You can just give an idea of where your paper is headed because your reader can reread if they forget information. They have time to process the information, take notes, and organize information at their leisure. So you can have your topic and purpose hidden among many words. But you and your audience do not have that luxury in a speech. Research shows that immediately after listening to information, people only remember half of the material, and that is when they are trying hard to remember. After 8 hours, they have forgotten approximately half of what they originally remembered. So this means that under optimum conditions, your audience will only remember 25% of your information. This is why there is a saying in speech to tell your audience your message 3 times. You tell them what you are going to tell them in the introduction thesis sentence. You tell them the information in the body. And finally, you tell them what you told them by repeating your thesis sentence in the conclusion. Your goal is to make your audience remember the most important information. And if they can remember your key points, then they are more likely to recall additional details. You can help your audience process and organize information by telling them up front what points you will cover. This allows them to create mental file folders to hold the information for retrieval later. However, if we put the points in the midst of many words or details, then the audience has to sift through the information. And since there is little time for this in a speech, much of that information will get lost. So we need to simplify our points. To do this, you want to limit each of your points to 3 words or less. But then you have to remove all the extra words that surround them. A speech thesis sentence does not need to provide an explanation. That occurs in the body. The purpose of the thesis sentence is to spotlight the main points. And sometimes you do have to spend some time working on the wording of phrases to create phrases that flow together. You can have words between your topic and your main points, but once you begin listing the points, you only want to have commas and one and in between them. Then you will have a concise, easy-to-follow speech thesis sentence. However, your topic does not have to come at the beginning of the thesis sentence. The main points can come first with the topic at the end. But whatever method you choose, remember that your explanations will be in the body. Resist the urge to add them to the thesis sentence. With a well-written thesis sentence, your audience knows exactly what you will discuss and the order that you will follow. So let's give thesis writing a try with this example. Find the topic and the 3 main points that will be covered. Stop the video while you do this, and when you have them, continue the video. Hopefully you decided that stars was the topic and that the main points were the 7 different types of stars, evolutionary phases, and how stars get their names. Now stop the video again and this time condense each point to 3 words or less. Continue the video when you have your 3 phrases. There is no one right answer for this. For the first point, you should have come up with something like types of stars. This fits the requirement of 3 words or less, but we can make it even more concise by getting rid of the word "of stars" because that's our topic and it's understood. This would allow us to reduce the phrase to the single word "types." The second point was already 2 words, evolutionary phases. And the third point, well, that one is a bit more difficult. There's really no way to just remove words from how stars get their names. But if we play with the wording a little bit, we could refer to that information as the naming process. And now that you have the 3 phases reduced, stop the video and write a thesis sentence. Resume the video when you are finished. Did you end up with a sentence similar to this one? The goal is to have nothing but commas and one "and" between your points. But you may have also chosen to put your topic at the end of the sentence. If you did, your topic will look something like this one. There is one other English rule that we can break in writing a speech thesis, so let's take a look at that one. Your English teacher will faint if your paper starts with, "In this paper, I'm going to tell you about stars." But you can be that direct in a speech. It is perfectly acceptable to have your thesis say, "Today we will talk about the types, evolutionary phases, and naming processes of stars." The only danger in that is that you have to change the verb tense when you repeat the thesis in the conclusion. Your thesis at the conclusion will be past tense. Today we talked about the types, evolutionary phases, and naming process of stars. Don't overthink your thesis sentence. Keep it simple and highlight your points. And if your thesis sentence looks too simple, it is probably close to perfect.